Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kedengaran ya suara saya ya, Mas Adit?
Kedengaran,
Dengar, Pak.
Pak.
Okay, thank you. So, because today we have foreign students, then I will use English, of course. Before we go to the presentation, I will show the presentation first. And online with my webcam for a second. Can you see the presentation or not? Jose Mendes, can you see the
Bisa
presentation?
lihat, Pak?
Oh, bisa ya?
Ya.
Oke. Di tempat saya malah nggak bisa ya. Okay, so thank you for your coming today. We will have the class. The title is New Technologies in Meat Processing atau Pengolahan dan Industri Daging. I will mix the language because we have Sanwar here. Sanwar, you already joined the class?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sanwar. So first I want to apologize for the late of this class. Because we have the same schedule that run in the same time. So we want to show you new technologies in meat processing or the recent technologies in meat processing. First, that what we call irradiation. So as we know, irradiation is one technology that can decontaminate the product, in this case, meat product, and non-activate the pathogen that bring by the food product itself. The purpose for this irradiation is to kill the microflora or the microbacteria, original microbacteria, so that why we can preserve or we can preserve for long shelf life for the food product. And the point of the meat irradiation, we want to make some method that we call cool sterilization. In this case, we want to use sterilization but without including the thermal process atau tidak menggunakan panas sama sekali. Hasilnya adalah, so the result is we have the good integrity product that not give or have residue, chemical residue. So the irradiation only disrupt or broken the DNA pattern on the microbacteria, so that's why the bacteria will die, but the product itself still safe to be consumed. So talk about this irradiation, people sometimes think that irradiation could produce cancer. Actually not, because in this case, if we use irradiation, means we just kill the bacteria. Of course, the irradiation will pass through the product also, but as you know, meat doesn't have active DNA like bacteria. So when we can control how many gray of the irradiation, it will only kill the bacteria. So the history of the irradiation is in 1940. Uh, one researcher uh, snap or use electron uh, that we know nowadays as Pierre and Marie Curie. They find uranium and also polonium and also radium to produce radiation in 1899. So the first trial is in 1940 and then it succeeds in 1899. So they use many substances, many products like ultraviolet, X-ray, electron, neutron, and then particle alpha. But the basic knowledge, like we know how irradiation works, is if we imagine daily we terpapar, we got the light from the sun. That is also irradiation. But the amount that can go to our body is not much. So that's why it is safe. It's still safe. So even lamp in our room, for example, it's also produce radiation. Just the amount is still safe. So in this case, if we use gamma irradiation, also that will be safe if or when we control the dose of the irradiation. Usually it's around 3 until 7 for the product and 3 until 10 gray for uh, olahan daging or meat product with some addition. And in 1981, FDA also have rule that some sort of food can be irradiated not more than 1 kilogram. And then the food can be can be categorized as safe food to be consumed. So we can imagine why we need this irradiation. If we produce food 1 until 2 tons per hour, and we need to sterilize it. For example, from China to Indonesia, they have fruit, they have many kind of products that they need to sterilize, and they need thermal. For example, it will very very costly. Also, when they use not just thermal, they use, for example, water and thermal. It will very costly. So the method that's very appropriate in this case is gamma irradiation. And then nowadays, Indonesian authority also already have rules related to this irradiation. This picture actually just show us how bombardment or the process when we irradiate food. We can see so food product arranged in pallet and then put in some chamber and then it's go through only pass this road. There are 4 roads. This road is has some irradiation function such as cobalt 60, for example. And then when the food pass this uh, chamber, directly the irradiation will even pass the chamber, even pass the packaging, and then DNA of the bacteria will die. And then after that, it's just like patch it and then put in another box. Very simple method. So that's why in my research also I just use uh, probably we just need 1 or 2 hours to sterilize bakso, or probably at that time say sapi. So it's very fast and it's very effective. Just in the field, it's still very expensive. When I'm irradiate product in Surabaya, it's uh, East Java, it's like uh, around 3 million rupiah for one uh, process. So means if we want to produce irradiate product, we need to have a very huge amount, bulky product, like a ton. So then it will efficient. But if just 1 kilo, 2 kilo, 4 kilo, it will not efficient. So of course there are some apa ya, satuan or tools when we use the irradiation. And usually we use satuan or international standard is gray. So 1 gray is 1 kilogram joule. So actually this international standard have many kind of standards. Some they use kilo gray, some they use rad or radiation, some use ERG per G. So it's just international standard. I easier for me use gray because that is very common in Indonesia to use that international standard. And then it is better to package the meat product uh, to preserve the color also. And then for irradiation, for example, we can produce ready-to-eat product. So why use irradiation? Somehow it will preserve the taste, the color, and also the flavor of the food better than we use with thermal. Because if we use thermal sterilization, for example, retort, the product will have uh, different color, different texture, and also it will disturb the quality of the product somehow. Okay, this is the dose that we use. This is just for from my research. The dose that I've been used to preserve bakso. Bakso is like a meatball in Indonesia. And for the Celsius storage. So we use 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, or 2 until 7, and that's still in the amount of BPOM standard. BPOM is like a Indonesian standard for food distribution. And 2 until 7 still safe. And the product at that time, I already saw by myself, it can preserve even 3 months without refrigeration. So other product, but so product other just 1 day probably in the ambient temperature will uh, busuk ya, atau decompose. But by using irradiation in uh, the packaging, this product still safe even we put it on the ambient temperature or 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, so before I already present about this packaging process, and in this case, we are at the storage distribution, power process, and packaging process. It includes irradiation. The function also I already told you before, how we label it, the packaging, and also the field experience related to the meat product. As a sample at the time, I use ayam goreng kalasan. So this is the other method than irradiation. We use process thermal for sterilization. So if we want to use sterilization, without irradiation, there are some methods. First is traditional thermal, like pasteurization or retort. It's categorized as thermal traditional, and then aseptic, such as ultra high temperature, or use the H2O2 steam. So usually the process used in uh, production of ready to eat milk, like as we know daily, yeah, like product inside the packaging from carton and also aluminium and also plastic. And then other is modern thermal process. This is that I want to show you today. This is the method that Indonesian still only one or two company has it. We call it microwave acid thermal sterilization or MAT, of heating also. And non-thermal modern, like I said before, gamma irradiation, high pressure pasteurization. This is also just use high pressure without thermal, and then modified atmosphere package. This is only modified the uh, atmosphere inside the packaging. Uh, for example, to change the percentage of the oxygen inside the packaging. Okay, I will make it fast. So this is the product. Usually I have this research that we call retort. So what is retort? Retort is sterilizing product upper 100 degrees Celsius. Usually we use 121 degrees Celsius. And then the retort actually uh, we produce for food that has water activity more than 0.85 and pH more than 4.6. It means it's like meat included in this category. And then this product can preserve until 1 or 2 years. So that's why this product in Indonesia is very common if we know sausage langsung lep. Sausage langsung lep, the method actually because the retort processing, because they use the packaging that they call HG. Yeah, they have retort that have a 4 layer of plastic, including aluminium. So what is the history? The history of this retort is start from almost 200 years ago uh, by Nicholas Ebert, and then it commercialized at 74. It means more than 50 years ago. So in this case, Indonesia is very tertinggal. We have a very, what is it, tertinggal, backward from the technology. But at least from this class, we could have some idea, right? Later we can make it as a product to produce with uh, retort packaging or other. And my research mostly related to retort packaging. So because people in this millennial era, they like the convenience thing, a good product, the quality product, qualified product, and then the packaging very easy to open, also easy to microwave, and also easy to eat. And then they use uh, packaging as their uh, choice to preserve their food. So here we have three kind of packaging: kaleng or can, metal pouch, and then plastic rigid barrier. Three of it has the same function to sterilize food, but the modern one is plastic rigid barrier. Because by using this plastic rigid barrier, product can be consumed inside the packaging directly. We can eat from the packaging, and then the product will not mix between each other. For example, we have corn and then vegetables, it will not mix between it. And then it's more interesting. We can have the transparent one. It can be directly microwave, and then the size is not full. We can manage it neatly in the storage. So why we need the barrier inside our packaging, inside the retort, uh, inside the plastic rigid barrier? Because it's to preserve and to protect the food from oxygen. Because if we have oxygen, if we have meat, it means we have fat, then the product will rancid. And then we also will lose the water from the product if we not use the correct packaging. And then we protect from sun. We protect the aroma inside the food. For example, we have very good products such as meat product also have a special aroma, so we need to preserve it. And then the process from retort has a very high pressure. That's why this packaging needs to stand still inside the retort machine. Oke, sampai di sini saya cek dulu. Suara saya sampai ya? Masih masih disimak ya?
Masih,
Dan
Pak.
presentasinya masih ya? Oke, thank you, Mas. Oke. So, I will continue there are many layers. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 4 until 9 layers inside retort packaging. So when we see by just use our eye, we think that it is only one layer, but actually there are many layers inside it, from polyamide, polyethylene, aluminum, and then uh, polyethylene telephthalate. So we have all of it to make sure the product sterilized correctly. So this is the process when we do retort packaging. We need at least 2 bar, ya, tekanannya paling tidak 2 bar untuk produce food, because high pressure means the shorter time to sterilize food. For example, we use 2 bar, we only need probably 5 until 15 minutes to sterilize food. So that's why we don't need to cook the product very long time. That's why people very like to use this retort packaging process. But there are some rules, including headspace. We need to have headspace at least minimum 10% from the volume, because we don't want the product bursting, because the pressure is very high, 2 bar, and if you don't have headspace, that is also a problem. Your product needs to expand, but if you have too much headspace, your atmosphere also can burst. So it needs adjustment. So less than 10% would be okay. And then you need to seal it hermetically, very tight. And here the process, actually the sterilization process just takes, probably this is 5 to 10 minutes is enough to sterilize the product. And then this is the example of the product. Nowadays we have so many products, especially in Japan and in Korea. So retort packaging is not very common in Indonesia yet, but I'm sure later it will have very good future, because nowadays I already know sate ambal, and then many people produce it. Even in Bolosego, in Jogja, they use retort, because this is very simple. You retort your product can preserve until 1 year. So when consumer come, you need just to uh, use hot water, and then directly you serve it to the consumer. And if you lazy, don't want to cooking, you just need to save your retort product, and then you warming up again later when consumer need it. Okay, and then this is another method that I told you, most advanced thermal sterilization, but what we call MATS. MATS basically, like in, can you see the picture? So this is used high pressure, but has inside the water. So it is combined. If retort only use like a vapor water, but this is real water. So this is just conductive heating. Then the product will have a good conductive thermal. So your product will not directly change or degrade the quality. And they use volumetric heating. So they use both uh, kind of electricity and also water. And this is very good because your food will preserve very, for example, vegetables in this picture. The color is very green. People very like to eat vegetables in this form. And if you use retort packaging retort method, the color will not be like this because very high pressure and very high uh, temperature. So in this, what is the difference when you smart? The packaging will simultaneously heated external by pressurized hot water and internally by the pattern microwave system. So this is combination of microwave and hot water. If you use microwave, there are very short time process. If you have water in your product, in this case, we immerse the product inside the water. So that's why it will help your product even uh, faster than your microwave. And it will preserve better quality and higher nutritional value than before because fast process means preserve nutrition. This is the differences between MATS and conventional retort process. If we use MATS, we just need 10 minutes. If we retort processing, 28, almost 3 times. So very different process. Longer process means reduce the quality. So shorter sterilization, better sensory, better nutrition. So that's why we choose MATS. But the problem is the technology in Indonesia, not many people know it, and even the industry doesn't use it still because it's still expensive compared to retort method. If retort method, even in our campus, in our faculty, I have it. So my research can directly done by using just by small amount of retort machine. And this is the differences between the sensory quality between the SIP 1 and the SIP 2. You can see from the color, the MITS has the higher value rather than fresh and also retort. So this is good and yeah, current future method to preserve our meat product. This is the picture if differences if we use MATS and retort. Can you see the differences? I think this is very different. Yeah. In retort, even the vegetables and the meat combined become one. But for children, usually they don't like it. The color also will disappear. But using MITS, the color, the texture, and the taste, nutrition still preserve very well. Okay, I thought this is the last presentation that I can present to you. If you have some question, uh, please don't hesitate to ask. If not, then I will give you the option, the present option, so you can have your present or your absent. Okay, please to use the QR code. Okay, all the students already present, probably, yeah. Okay, if uh, all students already have their absent or their present, then thank you very much for today and your oh masih ada yang belum absen ya? Okay, I will wait for 2 minutes then. Okay, I thought enough for today. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, terima kasih Pak.
Ya,
Terima
terima
kasih,
kasih
Pak.
ya. Saya tutup ya.